right, we are live. Hello, everybody joining in. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Stefisha, can you hear me? I'm testing the mic.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me? We are
Oh, I
in the
can.
building.
We are here today. I've been super excited to join in and really start this forum. Super important to be in. But before we
Yes.
start, um, I want to give some information about interpretation. So, once again, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Alameda County School Board Candidate Forum. To make sure our entire community has access to the forum, here are the instructions on how to do it, and they will appear on your screen in just a second. Um, the instructions are here. Estefisha, you want to walk us through on how to do this?
Absolutely. So, first, if you need to dial in, I need you to dial 669-444-9171. You're going to enter meeting ID 818-2681-0768, followed by the pound sign. So, make sure that you get that taken care of.
Yep. And una vez más, si está escuchando en español, puede llamar al número que está en la pantalla 1-669-449171. Después tiene que ingresar el número de la reunión, que es 818-2681-0768, y el signo de número. Después, una vez más, el signo de número. Si usted ya se había inscrito para esta junta, le va a llegar un mensaje de texto a ustedes para que vean y pueda presionar para que tengan interpretación de esa manera también.
All right, so look, you guys, we are here. It's the 5 o'clock hour. For everybody who's joining us, we genuinely want to hear from you in the chat box, okay? So look, drop us your name, your role, your school, and why you're here this evening. You could be anywhere else at 5 o'clock, but you are literally here getting fed information, right? So FYI, the cities, districts, schools that are represented in this forum include a wide range. Christian, who do we have in the building? Who do we have?
Stefisha, I just want to share that one thing I know about myself, and I'm sure you agree with this, is that we thrive off of energy. So the energy in the chat got to be on point. Come on, drop some emojis. Let us know what's up. I know it's late. We really appreciate you for making the time and being here as we transition to the meat of this discussion. But without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce myself.
Now, look, Christian, before you introduce yourself, I just want to say, remember how we said that sometimes things go wrong on tech? Well, look, we're streaming live on Facebook. It seems to be somewhat of a glitch, so that's okay, all right? We're going to pivot. So we need everybody to go to Families in Action for Quality Education on YouTube, okay? So the link is going to get dropped, but I need you to make sure that now to Families in Action for Quality Education on YouTube. So if there is anybody who is having an issue getting in, if you invited your constituents to listen to you and maybe they're having a hard time on Facebook, you can always go view this live on YouTube. Once again, that's Families in Action for Quality Education on YouTube. Back to you, Christian. Let's do it.
Thank you for that. No, and hopefully we can get it dropped into the chat as well so people can pick it up from there too. That would be great. Thank you. Hey, the chat is going up. Let me just take a moment. The chat is on fire. I'm loving it. I see it. Okay. Let's dive in. So, like I said, without further ado, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Families in Action for Justice Alameda County School Board Candidate Forum. Woo! For areas 2, 3, 5, and 6. We are so excited to have you all here today. And I'm so grateful for the candidates for making the time to join us and be in community with us. All right, y'all. Let me just jump into the screen right here real quick and tell you about myself. My name is Christian Martinez. I'm a community innovator from DP Stokeland. And I'm super excited to be in this conversation because since I was like 17, I was like, who is my representative? I want to talk about the education. See, I'm a school dropout. I dropped out of high school 3 times. And I still find success in this journey. Higher education was super difficult for me. I was undocumented, got shot in Oakland. So I'm like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what does that look like for folks growing up in my community and what access can we give them? And this is the space and time to kind of bring some of that light. Stefisha, talk to me.
Absolutely, man. Hey, give it up for my co-moderator. It's a blessing to be in a space with such amazing people. So look, my name is Stefisha Ecoe Walton, right? I'm a parent leader over at Cox Academy. My son is in the 4th grade, and I absolutely love the space. You know, I also sit on the board of Education for Change Public Schools, and I'm a licensed financial advisor. You know, I've been in that space for 10 plus years now, so over a decade, and I genuinely have a passion for making sure that the people in my community are educated from a financial perspective, just making sure that they have basic financial principles and solid financial habits. So for me, at the end of the day, you know, our students, you know, they go to class just like I did to get good grades. And then, you know, they're told to never go off course, but sometimes we don't always have access to the things that we need. And so we're here today to make sure that that doesn't happen. I was a student who ultimately got accepted to medical school, but couldn't go because I had not been properly educated on cash, collateral, credit, or any type of co-signers, right? So for me, I'm here just to make sure that the candidates that we have for areas 2, 3, 5, and 6, you know, that are running for Alameda County Office of Education trustees, you know, that here to represent well, and up to they have to say. You know, Alameda County is home to over 200,000 students, 211,000 to be exact. So many of these students and families are viewing the event tonight, whether it be just as community members, as educators, as school leaders. So, you know, I'm excited to be in this space. Christian?
Stefisha, it's an honor to be with you. And you said so many things that resonated with me, specifically around financial stability. So I'm excited to jump in now. Once again, thank you all for being here. We know that when we get involved, we raise our voices and call our elected officials to prioritize student equity and access to high quality education, the entire public school system improves for all kids. Your voice matters and your vote matters. I would also like to acknowledge our amazing candidates for taking the time to be here and engage with the Alameda County parents and youth. Can you give them up? Can you give it up for them in the chat? Let's give it up for them for making time, being here. Let's hear some noise. Let's hear some noise, some emojis in there. Let's get it. Let's get
right.
it. I see.
Yes. I see Lydia from in. Look, Doreen said woo woo.
Okay.
Yes.
And thank you all of our community and school partners who helped organize the forum. Again, once again, everybody, school partners. You know, we outreach to hundreds in our community to kind of be here tonight because it's super important. Our votes matter, and to make change, we got to be in these spaces. So I'm super excited. Stefisha.
Absolutely. Let's make some noise and clap it up for, you know, just the people in the community, you know, members, our parents, our educators, everybody who are here, you know, just make sure that, you know, they get informed. So finally, we're dedicating this evening, you know, in a very special way to Rachel Willis Henry and Dirk Tillotson, you know, Oakland parents and advocates who fought fiercely for Black and brown parents to have access to quality education, you know, in Alameda County, and in partnership with FIA, you know, for justice, where parents and youth leaders get to flex their civic power. So if you flex in civic power, let us know about it. You know, so first, I'd like to introduce Jesus from Unity High, who's going to tell us more about his values and also introduce the credentials for Families in Action for Quality Education. So I want you to listen up to this amazing young advocate.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Jesus, and I am a senior and dedicated student at Oakland Unity High School. I'm passionate about educational reform, and that's why I'm actively involved with FIA, because I believe in creating a pathway to quality education for all students. Recognizing the challenges in our district's success rates, I believe outdated systems hinder youth potential and teacher support. As a first-generation college-bound student myself and an oldest sibling, I strive to pave a better path for future generations. My commitment to improving educational opportunities stems from the belief that every student deserves quality education. Through advocacy and initiatives like FIA, I aim to create a more equitable educational landscape. Together, by supporting public schools, charter, and traditional, we can pave a better future. FIA is a parent and youth-led organization anchored in 45 charter and district schools within Oakland. Since we were founded in 2019, we have trained over 500 parents and youth education leaders. We are motivated by the reality that only 2 of 10 Black and brown students across the county can read at grade level, and only 1 of 10 students are at grade level in math. Our children deserve better than this. FIA believes every student in California deserves equitable access to quality public schools. That's why we are proud to be leading a movement to develop grassroots education champions who ensure that our voices and stories are heard by decision makers like the Alameda County School Board. Make some noise if you are supporting this advocacy. This evening, you will have the chance to hear directly from the candidates who want to represent you and your school communities.
All right. We are in the building once again. It's Tafisha.
Man, thank you so much to Jesus. The one thing that stuck out we said, was just that all of our children, of course, deserve, high quality education, but that only 1 in 10 of our students are actually at grade level in math. That for me doesn't fly, especially because I know that my son would naturally fall into that statistic. And so, we got to do more as parents, and we genuinely have to be there and be involved.
Yeah, no, definitely. That also kind of really hit home for me. I'm about to be 35 in 2 weeks. And for the longest I've been in this country, I've been hearing that the brown and the black community is always at the bottom. Respectfully, I'm so tired, and we need officials who can unapologetically make decisions on the behalf, because we want to be on top too. I want to see that gap close. So let's talk about it,
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to add, Estefisha?
Just that I'm grateful to see our youth out here doing the work. So thank you so much to Jesus, for that. So many of our youth, just like Jesus, have a really long history of just fighting for better educational opportunities. Many have gone through our Alameda County schools, and they're looking for a high quality school option. So grateful to him just for doing this work.
Amazing. And now we're going to transition into what community members, like Jesus, have been showing up, but also let's talk about what is the actual responsibilities of the ACOE board. Talk to us, Sister Fisha. Talk to us.
All right. So look, the first thing we want to talk about is what do they actually do as they sit on the board, right? What do our trustees do? And so the first thing that I know that a trustee does is they help to adopt the annual budget. That's about $58 million for the County Office of Education, right? And they approve financial audits. So I think that that's very important to consider and to know.
Exactly. And also to add to that, they educate specific students populations in the county, juvenile court schools, special education, teen parents, and ensure that these educational programs are effective. And that is super critical in our county.
Absolutely. We hear a lot about, our facilities conditions and the properties, that are overseen by the district and by the county specifically. And, in addition to the responsibilities that you just mentioned, the Alameda County Board of Education also oversees county facilities and property. So whereas we might need repairs or upgrades, that's something that we go to the county for in some situations.
And advocate and make change.
Right.
And one more thing is they make decisions on student expulsion appeals. One more time, they make decisions on students expulsion appeals. I personally have known multiple of my friends, family members who have gone through expulsion hearings, and that can make a big transition of your life. And what does that mean you moving forward in the future? So that is one thing that they hold in this board. Right. So it's a lot of things that we need to be informed, y'all. And last thing, Stefisha.
Yes. One thing that I would add to that is just that, our county board, they authorize public charter schools, and they really make decisions on those charter school appeals that ultimately are going to stay open or be closed. And so, when we look at the role of our county board and how important it is, I'm really glad that, as many people that have turned out tonight are here, and I'm excited for even more to join us, simply because it's important for you to understand and to know who our candidates are, so that you can make the best choice when it comes to voting on or before March 5th, So let me ask you guys, just in the crowd, if you've learned something new so far, just from what we've talked about, drop it in the chat, give your reaction. If you're excited about the start of this tonight, let us know, because there's more to come. This evening, you're going to have a chance to hear directly, from the candidates themselves, and these candidates want to represent you and your school community as the county school board trustee. So if you're here for it, let us know.
Yeah, drop some emojis. Let us know. That's what we do. Knowledge is power. And next, I would like to transition to a powerful person, an amazing human being. Is Miss Jackie from Cox Academy. who has an amazing story, is a powerful parent, and has an important call to action for all of us, right? For all of us, everybody. Call to action. I'm gonna go ahead and transition the screen into the next one, and this is the video.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie, and I was born and raised on Sunnyside in Oakland, California. Mother of two, one deceased son, one disabled and visually impaired daughter, and my granddaughter goes to Cox Academy in deep East Oakland. I've attended public schools in Oakland all of my life. I have studied cosmetology, taught early childhood education, therapeutic child development, and currently culinary instruction at a reentry program for men that were incarcerated. Though I recently become disabled myself due to unfortunate circumstances, I never let anything steal my joy. During the Cox Black Family Council meeting, I learned about the Lit for Literacy program that FIA was offering for parents, and I signed up so I could learn how to support my granddaughter at home as her primary caretaker. What also charged me to challenge myself and get involved in her academic success was learning that most Black students in Oakland cannot read at grade level. I'm also part of the parent leader team that secured $28 million in Prop 51 funding to renovate the Cox building. I want to see all children succeed in their learning and be able to read at or above grade level. And I feel a responsibility to share what I have learned with other families. That is why I am a FIA leader. That is what we at FIA care about. I know parents have a lot of power to change the education system in Oakland. So I ask you all to commit with me to voting and signing the voting pledge. The link is located below. It only takes a minute. This election is very important. Let's make our vote and voice count, especially as Black and Brown communities. Click the link and commit to vote. Thank you so much.
All right, yo, at this moment, it's Tafisha, we got to tell the people that they got to grab their phone, okay, and scan the QR code that's on your screen. If you are on your phone or your computer, you can also go to the chat and just click on the link and make sure that you pledge to vote. It's Tafisha.
Absolutely. So look, you guys, pledging to vote is not only important, it's paramount, okay? So not only am I going to pledge to vote, like I'm texting it to my friends and my family because I genuinely want our community to be heard when it's time to vote. Our voice is our vote, right? And vice versa. So, we can heed Miss Jackie's call to action or we cannot. But if we do, we get to help our kids reach the goals by exercising their voice and their vote, right? So I need you to pull out your phone, just like you just said, and I need to scan the QR code or click the link that was dropped in the chat. It literally takes less than 60 seconds, okay? So next, I want to introduce an amazing parent leader and an amazing leader in this community, who's going to share just her motivation as a parent leader at the district and charter schools, especially around advocating for students with special needs. So, Tanisha, she is important to our heart, but important to our community. So we're going to introduce, we're going to allow her to introduce the candidates who are running to represent us on the Alameda County School Board.
My name's Tanisha Harris. I'm a FIA parent leader with children attending Lodestar Community School and Oakland Academy of Knowledge. In my home, education is extremely important. See, my parents never got the opportunity to graduate from school. The system failed them. I'm raising my younger children and siblings. Some of them have IEPs, and every day I have to advocate to make sure they get the tools and research they need to excel. It is sad that in 2024, we have to fight for inclusion, equality, and equity. I want to make sure that I advocate not only for my children, but for all children. I hope to empower other parents to partner with educators so our children reach their full potential. One of the ways that adults can advocate is by voting in the upcoming ACOE election. Adults, it's time for us to make an educational vote. It starts with educating yourself on the candidates that are running. Next, do your research. Do they align with your values and morals? Now you have the tools to make an educational vote. Now I have the pleasure of introducing the candidates for ACOE areas 2, 3, 5, and 6. For area 2, we have candidates Angela Norman and John Lewis. For area 3, we have candidate Ken Burrick running unopposed. For area 5, we have candidates Jonathan Cole and Joe Orlando Ramos. Unfortunately, candidate Guadalupe Angulo declined to join us this evening. For area 6, we have candidate Eileen McDonald, and unfortunately, John Leon Goro was not able to join us either.
All right. So before we move forward, first I want to say thank you to Tanisha for your passion and for your leadership. Okay. But before we move forward, drop it in the chat. What candidate are you here to see and represent tonight, right? Drop it in the chat, because at the end of the day, it's important that we show up and that we learn, right? When it comes to our civic duty and our civic power in the community, when we come together and we begin to understand, we can really bring power back to our community where it belongs. Christian, over to you. What are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm excited. I'm excited to jump into the questions and the lightning round. But before we do that, I want to give you a little bit of information about the format of this forum. So candidates, community, please listen closely. You will see the guidelines on the screen in just a second. There it goes. We will start with a 5 open-ended questions. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond. Once again, each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond. We will rotate who answers first. Next, we will have the lightning round. The lightning round is yes or no, just simply that. What is it, Estefisha? Yes or no? Can I say maybe?
Nah, it's no maybe. Yes or no.
It's yes or no. That's it. And finally, each candidate will have 1 minute for a closing statement to address anything they would like to share with the audience. We share the questions in advance with each candidate. Please know that we will be strict on timekeeping to ensure every candidate gets equal time. Estefisha, anything you want to add?
Actually, I do. I want to make sure we get these voting pledges up. So look, click that link in the chat and take the pledge to vote. So if you missed the QR code, you can catch the link in the chat. So let's get started, you guys. To our audience members, if something resonates with you during this candidate forum, I want to remind you that you could just put a reaction or a comment in the chat box, right? But let's make sure that we keep our comments respectful. We're here for a great time, not a long time. Okay, so next I would like to introduce Mariela. She's a senior from Unity High School who's going to share her motivations and ask our very first question.
Good evening, candidates. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Mariela Jimenez. I have the honor of asking the first question of the night. However, before I do that, I want to give a brief introduction about myself. So I'm a senior at Oakland Community High School, as well as a youth leader here with Families in Action, which I have been for a couple of years now. I've been continuously motivated by the work FIA does, as well as the passion I see within this organization to truly reform the education system so that every student gets the quality education they so rightfully deserve. My inspiration also stems from my own academic journey, as I will attend college soon. I am very grateful for the opportunities I have received along the way. However, I know that unfortunately, many of my Black and brown peers are constantly failed by the system, limiting their opportunities. I strive to eliminate that disparity, as all students deserve equal opportunity no matter what. Alameda County is one of the most diverse counties in California, among which there are 17,500 Black students, which is 26% read on grade level and 16% do math at grade level. There are currently 73,000 Latinx students, which is 33% read on grade level and 21% do math at grade level. And just 50% of Black and Latino students in Alameda County are eligible to apply to a four-year college. So my question for you is, what experience do you have improving outcomes for Black and brown and other marginalized student groups? As Alameda County trustee, what would you do to improve access to high quality public education for underserved students in Alameda County. You have 2 minutes to respond. Leading candidates.
All right, Estefisha. So this is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna reiterate the question one more time, and if you can help me calling out the candidates in order. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Question one. What experience do you have improving outcomes for Black, Brown, and other marginalized students groups? Second question. As an Alameda County trustee, what would you do to improve access to high quality public education for underserved students in Alameda County? Stefisha, talk to me. Who goes
All
first?
right, let's kick it off. Candidate Angela Norman, you are first, and you have 90 seconds.
All right, thank you. My entire experience as an education specialist for students with moderate to severe disabilities has been in a middle school special day class. Students with IEPs are typically offered either gen ed or resource or an SDC. Gen ed and resource are designed to help bridge the gap for students who are 1 to 2 years behind their peers, while the special day class is designed for students who are significantly behind same age peers. For the past 18 years, I have consistently been improving outcomes for BIPOC and other marginalized student groups by ensuring access to quality education, improving educational outcomes, helping to create a pathway for students with severe disabilities to access high school graduation with a diploma. I can boast that many of my former students have gone to college, completed apprenticeships, become laborers, and are tax-paying citizens. I even helped one student attend and graduate from culinary school. As a Black queer educator, centering issues of racial and social justice is personal. Quite often, racial injustice and/or economic inequity are the underlying situations that move a parent or guardian to ask for an interdistrict transfer, or as Christian pointed out, appeal and expulsion. I use my experience and lens to stand up for the rights of students who are unjustly criminalized and advocate for solutions and decisions that often change the trajectory of their lives.
Okay. Thank you so much for that response. We appreciate that. John Lewis, you are next, and you have 90 seconds.
The experience that I have is coming out of the construction field. I've worked on a few schools here in the Oakland area, East Bay. So I know that I've encouraged all my coworkers is that whatever we do, we're doing it for the kids. We try not to stretch things out. Basically, some contractors tend to be a little on the crooked side, but we try to do it for the students. Take care of the schools, do our best job we can do, so that the kids will be on the path to success. Experience-wise, tutoring, working with OK program here in Oakland for young black males that are having trouble coming out of a single-parent home. Basically, working with them on the weekends. What I would also say that my experience is to working at my church, helping out with the youth program, experience in that aspect. I guess the second question would be, what I look forward to is not allowing kids just because they're falling behind to be in a special ed program. I look forward to pushing all the kids, getting them up to reading level, having all the kids reading at grade level as a goal, and allowing the teachers to do their job, allowing the teachers, the talented teachers that are here in Alameda County, to basically stretch their wings and basically get these kids up to where they need to be, because if not, we failed the kids. So that is my goal.
All right. Thank you so much. You were right on time, candidate Lewis. Thank you so much for your response. Ken Barrick, you are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Well, thank you. First, I want to say I'm going to have to up my game. I didn't know we were going to have professional quality DJs as MC. So this is my first forum where that's the case. But I want to start by saying I started Seneca when I was 29 years old in 1985 because I was so furious about the fact that we failed students and we failed young people in foster care and we failed young people in juvenile justice time and time again. And then every time we failed them, we blamed them for it as if it was their fault. The failures of the systems weren't the failures of the young people. They were systemic failures and responses to racism and marginalization that have been there for long before any of the people we were trying to serve were born. So we actually wrote books about it. We wrote 2 books, one called Unconditional Care and the other called Unconditional Education. Unconditional is the operant phrase. That's what parents do for their young people. That's what we should be doing for our students, is being unconditional. And students don't fail systems, systems fail students. And when you look at what we have and haven't done, for example, when you look at Yuming Charter School as the school that was the only Asian-centric school in a county like Alameda County that has so many newcomers and no place that a student that didn't speak anything but Mandarin could go and feel at home, and then use that enriching experience to have other students be able to learn Mandarin. And it's the same with many of our schools that we brought in to do things that couldn't be done before. Urban Montessori, the first Montessori school, public school, the community school, Waldorf-inspired school, Met West in Oakland that has
Candidate Barrett. I'm sorry, Candidate Barrett. That's time. I apologize, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Candidate Jonavette Cole, you are next, and you have 90 seconds.
It's an honor to be here tonight. And just real quick, my legacy, my life effort is working with our Black and Brown students. As you know, I work for Hayward Promise Neighborhood at Cal State East Bay, which is working with marginalized communities, such as the one that I live in, to help these, to stop intergenerational poverty and to help families from cradle to career, to make certain that their scholars are getting into college and establishing careers. I created a pipeline to college where students from Hayward High School were able to matriculate to Cal State East Bay. After 3 years, they had automatic admission into Cal State East Bay. I started the Community Leadership Initiative, where I'm working with parents and community members and helping them navigate the educational system and to become empowered and seek positions of power in the community to help promote high quality education. My participants have started their nonprofits. Some of them are sitting on the local school board, Hayward Unified School District School Board. And I also am working currently with the Black Techathon, where students are learning how to code and they're learning how to create apps. This is the work I do on a day-to-day basis, working with the Black and Brown community to help lift up our people.
Time. Thank you so very much. Christian, can you help me with who's next? I apologize.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. We have Joe Ramos. You are up next.
Thank you.
Oh, you're muted. Joe is muted. Can we help you?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go for it.
That's a commercial. So, anyway, blessings to Oakland, Hayward, Union City, and whatever cities are involved. My name is Joe Ramos, and I spent 18 years in the Marine Corps. And on Monday, I was in the Marine Corps. On Friday, I was in the classroom. So I got several degrees in education, and I taught for about 3.5 years middle school and high school. And the first year I worked, I was in special ed. And one thing that is my passion is literacy, is reading and writing. My mama taught me how to read when I was 3 years old. And she taught me all about the history of Mexico and different situations like that. And because of reading, it has taken me very far. I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, the lieutenants and captains would say, they would be talking about Shakespeare, and I would say, oh, that's from the Act 5 or something. And they would say, how do you know that? I said, because I could read, brother, because I could read. And so that's one of the problems. I didn't know it, but I spent 20 years in jail. That's right. 20 years in jail. But then the other part is as a volunteer. I've gone to some churches and I say I spent 20 years in jail and all the women grabbed their purses, but no, as a volunteer. And what I learned from that, a lot of men and I guess so much as the women too, but my experience more with men is that most of them they're not saying there's nothing wrong with them, they're smart, but
Time.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh my God. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much, Ramos.
Go ahead, Safisha.
No worries. Next, we have candidate Eileen McDonald. You are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to start out by saying, although I'm Caucasian in appearance, my son-in-law is African American. I have grandchildren that are biracial, and my grandparents were from Mexico. They are the Martinez clan. And Christian, we may be related. I was thinking that when you introduced yourself. I've put 4 children and 11 grandchildren through and currently in public schools. Whether I have been successful with all of them, I don't know. I've given them all the opportunity to spread their wings and decide what was best for them. That's what I do for the youth now. I am open-minded. I believe in equalization for everyone. And I do believe that if there had been a charter school for my son when he was floundering in school, because not all shapes and sizes fit into the same mold, he would have turned into a more successful adult and not had the substance abuse issues that he has today. So I listen, I observe, I'm there for all students because I believe every student deserves an equal education. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that response. We totally appreciate that. And so thank you to all of our candidates for your responses. You know, this issue is it's really close to our hearts. You know, we're here because we really want, schools where our Black and our brown students thrive academically, So blow up the chat. Let me see what you guys have to say in regards to what's going on, the responses that you've heard. Was there something that resonated with you? Was there a trustee who said something that you say, you know what? I really appreciate that. And I like that. Okay, that touched me. That's something that I can get on board with. What is it that you guys heard? What about you, Christian?
Yeah, no, there was a lot. There was a lot there that connected with me, that hit home for me. And I would love to hear from your community. One word, one phrase that resonated with y'all. And in that process, too, remember, this is the reason why we got to pledge to vote. Make sure you click on that link. Make sure you connect, sign up, because it's important to get out there and make our vote count. If you can vote, tell your homie to vote, tell your family to vote, tell everybody to vote, tell the bus driver to vote, when you get on that bus going to school, because it's super important to exercise that power. All right. Now we're going to transition. I have the pleasure to introduce Santiago, a parent from Greenleaf and Unity High School, who will present a testimonial about his role as a parent leader in education. And our second question, we love to see fathers like Santiago get involved in their children's education. All right, let me get this together. Here we go.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Santiago Estrada. Mis hijos asisten a Greenleaf y a Unity High School. Estoy involucrado en la educación de mis hijos porque creo firmemente en la importancia del rol de los padres dentro de la misma. He formado un vínculo muy importante en las 2 escuelas, ya que hay que hacer un equipo para que así los estudiantes de Oakland tengan el éxito en su educación por la que tanto hemos luchado. Como padre líder de FIA, a través de los diferentes institutos en los que he participado, he adquirido las herramientas que necesito para exigir que la calidad en la educación de Oakland mejore, ya que las estadísticas en general son muy bajas para los estudiantes latinos y afroamericanos. FIA cree en la agencia de los padres y me ha preparado para ser socio de mis escuelas en la educación de mis hijos. A través del conocimiento que he adquirido, he formado parte de FIA, permitiendo pasar la voz, empoderando a más padres de familia. Me gustaría hacerles una pregunta. La primera es, ¿cuál cree que es el papel de las familias en la educación pública? ¿Cómo ha actuado usted según sus creencias sobre la colaboración familiar en la educación? Y por último, ¿cree que las familias deberían poder elegir la mejor escuela para sus hijos, incluyendo una escuela Charen? Por su atención, mil gracias.
All right, all right. Here we are. We're gonna dive into the second question. We're gonna do the same breakdown. I'm gonna ask the question one more time. It's a two-folded question. We have about 118 folks in the building. Make sure you send that link out to get this information out to our community. So here are the two questions, Estefisha. You ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm ready. What do
All
you
right.
believe is the role of families in public education, and how have you acted on your beliefs about family partnerships in education? That's question one. Question two, do you believe families should be able to choose the best school for their child, including charter schools? Stefisha, roll call.
All right, here we go, candidates. So, Ken Barrick, you are first and you have 90 seconds.
I'm happy to talk to this. I used to get in trouble when I ran Seneca because I had a youth advisory group, and we would make decisions in the group and go back and tell the management team what we had decided together. And sometimes they would get a little bit frustrated because the youth had so much voice. But they're their programs. They belong to them as they do to the parents. Parents should absolutely have a choice, and wealthy parents automatically have a choice. So making a distinction about who has a choice in education by their economic status is fundamentally obscene. There's somebody else we need to listen to, and that's our staff. And I have to call this out. There's a person, Mr. Ramos, actually said to a staff person in a public meeting, we should string you up, to a staff person in a public meeting. And I just want to say, if you know what that phrase meant and you said it, you shouldn't be in public life. And if you don't know what that phrase meant and the strange fruit that phrase bears, then you shouldn't be in public life. No one should ever speak to a staff person that way. No one should ever speak to a family member. We need to include our staff and our families in our dialogue, and we need to embrace them, not demonize them in the way that I've heard in public life recently and have never heard before.
Thank you so much for your response, Kim Barrett. President Cole, you are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Okay, very good. All right. So the work that I do and have done for the last 10, 13 years is empowering parents to get engaged in the educational system. I have taught courses to our community members on how to understand how the school system works, how you can advocate for your scholar, and how you can get involved in civic engagement and be powerful. It's vital that parents have a voice. That is my platform, for parents to have a voice in the scholarship of their child. And as far as parents being able to choose where their child should go, that is their option. Every environment is not the same. It's not equal. It's not, my child may not thrive in a large, traditional school. And so a public school or a charter school that specializes in a certain expertise, whereas learning a new language like Mandarin, or learning a new technology, or learning project-based, learning, may be beneficial for my child. And so that's what I teach parents, to have a choice, to have a voice, and to advocate for their scholars.
All right, right on time, President Cole. Thank you for your response. Joe Ramos, you are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Is this going out?
We can hear you just fine.
All right. First of all, I'd like to agree with Ms. Cole on some of her ideas. Matter of fact, my 3 points that I ran for were the 3 basics: reading, writing, and arithmetic. Number 2, to balance the budget, and parental involvement and parent choice. So I totally agree that parents should have a choice between a public school or a charter school, because you should be able to have a choice on the best education for your child. And anyone that tells you something different is lying to you. And you have to ask, why would they say that? Now let's move on to what this guy Barrick said. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. But I'm going to tell you this. Go Google woke education. You'll find out at the school district where I work at, Hayward Unified School District is very corrupt. And so my board members, they're the ones who okayed this a year ago, and woke kindergarten is going all over the country, and they're talking about or making Hayward look like a laughing stock, because what they did is they approved this program that is teaching the kids socialism and all other nonsense except the basic reading and writing, and their math scores went down. But that's okay, because people are going to see the truth is coming out, that the reason that I said that, because that person, she should have been ashamed of herself. She's part of that clan. They have been trying to feed black and brown children with nonsense.
Thank you, Joe. That's time. Thank you, Joe. That's time. So we're going to move forward. Thank you so much for your response. Candidate Eileen McDonald, you are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Thank you. Well, parents, I'm going to speak to the parents right now. You are your child's number one advocate. You need to fight for your child. You need to put them, make sure they're in the school where they thrive. You make sure that they're in a safe environment. When it came to my kids, the gloves were off, and everyone knew it. They go, oh, here comes Mrs. McDonald. She's going to make sure that things are fair. I want to tell a quick story, and I hope I have time. I was at my office next door to the high school, and one day a young boy came over in tears, and he said, Mrs. McDonald, I need your help. They're kicking me out of school. I've been truant for 2 weeks. They didn't know my dad had just died. My mom has been mentally not able to handle this, and I haven't gone to school, and they're kicking me out. So the first thing I did was say, sit down, son. We're going to enroll you. He was a senior, lacking credits. I said, the first thing we're going to do is enroll you in a Loney College, get you out of that high school where they've already decided you're not going to be successful. And I'm telling you today, that young man has a career, a job, and what he said to me when he graduated from Ohlone was, Mrs. McDonald, thank you for caring about kids like us. And that's what I have continued to do and will continue to do, is care about all kids, and especially the ones that fall through the cracks and need a little more help. And I'm always there for parents. I'm the 411 for any information for any of my local parents who need to know where to go. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your response, Candidate McDonald. Candidate Angela Norman, you are next, and you have 90 seconds.
All right. Thank you so much. So since 2006, when I started teaching, I would start every parent-teacher night out the same by saying, you and I are now in a long-term relationship. I know we just met, but we are now partners for life. Your child will always be my student, and I'm counting on us to work together to ensure their success. This is not only important for the parent, teacher, admin, school relationship, but also for the student. Students who know that there is frequent communication between school and home also know that school is a safe and nurturing environment. And as we all know, studies have found that students from pre-K to 12 who have a positive student-teacher relationship also have increased engagement, motivation, pro-social adaptive behavior, and high levels of academic achievement. I believe in a family's right to choose. And like Tanisha said, I think it's also unfair that parents are put in that situation. Every child should have a high-quality public school in their community. But years of disinvestment in our communities have put you in this situation. And that is another reason for us to work together. I work hand in hand with the union leaders in Oakland and Alameda and San Leandro, where we have taken on.
That's time. I apologize for interrupting you, but that's time. All right. Let's see. Candidate John Lewis, you are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Yes. I feel that it's imperative to have parents or guardians, engaged with their students or their kids, so that they have a safe place to lay their head. They have a peaceful place to study. Now, of course, that is not the optimum. That is the optimum setup. Most families don't. It's not set up like that. So, the the teachers, yeah, you have to engage the parents and encourage the parents, almost like teaching them, I would feel, that to get them engaged, to get them on board. But the main thing is that just in case the parents are not going to get on board, we have to kind of bridge the gap and encourage the students, regardless of their family situation. They have to be just tantamount. It has to be tantamount in their life that they have to excel. So for the students who are not reading at grade level, right, it's going to be a large task for them to first of all see the future, and then second of all, uh, basically perform in the classroom. But it can be done. It can be done. And regarding what do I think about, um, I think the second question was basically what do I see the charter schools
Candidate
was the second
Lewis,
question was charter.
Candidate Lewis, I apologize. That's time. Thank you so much for your response.
All right. Thank you, candidates, for your responses. They were powerful. And just as a reminder, know that this is a forum is for you to showcase your answers, what you've been working
Yes.
in the community. It's not a debate. So make sure that we are grounding ourselves to stay true to answer the questions. It's sufficient. Anything you want to add before we transition?
I do. I want to go through some of these responses in the chat. I see we have somebody, Mariela, she said family involvement is so important. We have Amira Gudino. Look, this is Spanish. Help me out, Christian. Excelentes respuestas, candidatos.
Hey,
all right, let's go. So what resonates with you? What resonates with you? Let us know, you guys, because this is an opportunity for us to get to know our candidates so that we can truly understand, who's going to be in a position of power and choice. So, anything else you got before we keep it rolling forward, Christian?
Yo, this is the opportunity to start shaping what the future looks like for our youngins in our communities, in our county. So your vote is super important. Make sure you pledge. Again, we're going to talk about it at the end as well. But let your family know, let your friends know, let your bus driver know, let your homies know. Go vote. Go vote for me. Make it happen. So let's go in transition. Keep rolling with the next question, Stefisha.
Oh, yeah, man. All these emojis got me fired up. The hearts, the fires, everything. So look, next, I'm excited to introduce Maida, a powerful FIA parent leader at Oakland Unified Bridges Academy, okay? She'll be asking her question about ACOE for all students in Spanish. So you can read along with the English subtitles, but here we go.
All right.
Hola, mi nombre es Mayra Buliño y soy madre líder de FIA y de la escuela Bridges Academy. Tengo 3 hijos en las escuelas de Oakland. Desgraciadamente, Oakland tiene mucha dificultad con la educación. Me da mucho orgullo ser parte de FIA. Gracias a FIA me ha dado el motivo y la fuerza para seguir luchando por la educación de mis hijos. Por eso soy madre líder y quiero luchar por cambiar una mejor educación. Ahora quiero hacerles unas preguntas. ¿Cuál es la fortaleza de cómo la Junta Escolar del Condado de Alameda está logrando cumplir con su obligación de atender a los estudiantes con mayores necesidades como los jóvenes en centros de justicia juvenil y las madres adolescentes? ¿Qué mejorarás como administrador?
All right, let's pause right there. We're going to do one more time. Reiterate the questions, Stefisha. We're going to do the roll call. Here we go. What is a strength in how the Alameda County School Board is succeeding in fulfilling its obligations to serving the highest need students, such as juvenile hall justice facilities, teen moms? What would you improve as a trustee?
All right. Thank you so much for that, Christian. So, President Jonathan Cole, you are first, and you have 90 seconds.
One of the most heartfelt experiences is attending the graduations of those scholars that, like our teen moms, or those formerly incarcerated students, and to see them achieve a goal where they're graduating, they're getting their degree, and they now have a greater hope in life that I've achieved something, and now I can move on to something greater. And I always emphasize, utilizing the elders, utilizing the village that's around you to help you, support you in that journey. And that's just a wonderful experience. I think that Alameda County Office of Education offers to our most vulnerable students, that hope, that opportunity just to expand and continue to grow. Even if you have a minor setback in life, that doesn't stop you from achieving your goals and your journey. And to have those family members and those teachers that are behind you and loving you and just promoting you to excel. And that, I think, is one of our greatest strengths.
Thank you so much for that, President Cole. Thank you for your response. Next, we have Joe Ramos. You are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to President Cole, because President Cole is the reason I'm here. She may not remember it, but we met in Castro Valley at a meeting, and then I asked her what she did, and she told me, and she said, you should run for my position once I leave it. So thank you. I'm not trying to do any harm, but we happen to agree on a lot of things. The main thing is charter schools. And I missed that question, but the basic point is I've been involved in education system. Matter of fact, I worked one summer for the county as a substitute teacher in the jails and juvenile hall. And so I've been in the jails for 20 years as a volunteer. And what I do know is most of the people that are locked up, they have a grade level of 3 to 4th grade. Not everybody, but most of them. And that's because they weren't taught properly in school. And basically, we need to get with the basic reading and writing, and they have to pass and raise the scores up at 3rd and 4th grade, or there's gonna be problems. And that's what the problem is at the Hayward Unified School District. And I'm calling them out on it. And that's why they're trying to put me as persona non grata. But see, God places you in special places, and that's why I'm here tonight, because he allowed me to be 20 years in jail as a volunteer. And if you vote for me, you're going to see a big change in this county, because I'm not here by accident. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity, because I've had the chance to meet some new friends. And Ms. Cole, I wish you the best. God bless you.
All right, that's time. Thank you so much, Candidate Ramos. Candidate Eileen McDonald, you are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Okay, here I go. I believe that the county office is doing a lot. We have a new superintendent. Her focus is a lot of it is on the at-risk youth, Camp Sweeney, Juvenile Hall, the Young Mothers Program, but I think we can do more. And what I would stress in my next term would be more vocational training. I do believe that we need to stress vocational training for our youth, especially our incarcerated youth, so that they can leave incarceration and go right to vocation. They can have a job, they can be successful, they can learn a trade, and the trades are out there desperate for people that can fill those jobs. And plumbers, electricians, car mechanics, there's a shortage of those positions, and they're good pay and they're good upstanding jobs. And so that's where my focus will be, and that's where I will be hoping that the county office will put more money and more emphasis.
Thank you so much for your response. Next, we have candidate Angela Norman. You are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Thanks. Like Eileen and Jonathan have already said, Alameda County, we lead in this work. I'm really proud of the work that our superintendent, Elise Castro, has dedicated her life to ensuring the best outcomes for the most marginalized students. In the short time that she's been at the helm, she's initiated, and we as the board have supported programs that tackle housing, training, support, teacher recruitment, and retention. I'm eager to continue to expand on this critical policy and organizing work with my fellow board trustees. As a trustee, I advocate for responsible budgeting to ensure that socioeconomically disadvantaged students and those experiencing housing insecurity have the services that they need. My advocacy centers around ensuring resources needed to provide safe, nurturing environments for high quality learning and engagement. This work is critical to ensure that students do not fall through the cracks and that the local schools throughout the district can get the resources that they need. I routinely meet with local education leaders as well as senators, assembly members, and representatives to engage in discussions around things like safety, health benefits, fully funded SPED programs, free and reduced lunch, as well as have an opportunity to really lead with local and state actions that support students.
Thank you so much for your response, candidate Norman. Next, we have candidate John Lewis. You are next and you have 90 seconds.
Yes, I feel that our strengths are as teachers. Basically, I think administration should get out the way and allow them to do their job. Funnel more funds into the classrooms. I think the other strength of the district of the county is basically you are working with kids that are having problems in the juvenile system or teen moms. You're not leaving them behind. You're basically trying to help them along because you have a goal, and that is to have a more civic, a more balanced community, right? And so we need those people. We're not leaving them. We're not losing them. And from there, as a trustee, I would basically put more emphasis on that, working with the youth that are having issues, right? Getting them where they need to be. The neglect they've had all these years, right? Got them into those problems, right? And we're going to turn it around. We're going to jump on it. We're going to allow them to figure out a way to get them reading. And like one of the students said, 2 and 10 are only reading at grade level. So 8 out of 10 are more likely going to have issues in their life. So we have to change that. We have to reverse that number. 8 of 10 should be reading at grade level, and that's what I would like to as a goal to put forward.
Candidate John Lewis, that's your time. Thank you so much for your response. And lastly, for this question, we have Kim Barrick. You are next, and you have 90 seconds.
There is so much that we're doing. Let me just start with we have superb teachers that are deeply committed to students in juvenile hall and in Camp Sweeney and to our parenting students. And those programs are really terrific. We've developed an in-house school that works with students and supports students that didn't graduate, that are over 18, as old as 23. To get their high school diploma and an opportunity of individualized learning. We have done a terrific job. We are the State Center for Excellence for Community Schools, and we're leading the community school movement. But beyond that, our superintendent, with the strong support of the board, is creating the first program to have a county-wide approach to bring the districts together to provide supported mental health students services to every student in the district. No other county office is as far ahead as this office is. What can we do better? That coordinating role of bringing the districts together and supporting coordinated efforts like vocational education, like teacher training, like building a pipeline so that our students who have been disadvantaged can become our teachers and help future students. Those are things that we can all build out as the superintendent leads in being a coordinating body to bring the districts together in a way that we haven't done before. This county office is superb and it's getting better.
Candidate Barrick, that is time. Thank you so much for your response. Man, let's take a second to just digest some of the responses that we've gotten. This is a great time for us to just understand what our candidates are telling us. And if you're anything like me, you probably took a note or two. For me, I genuinely digest information by writing it down. And one of the things that I heard was candidate Norman say that, we want additional programs and supports for our students, right? I also heard candidate Barrick say the exact same thing. And for me, when we put our resources where our students need them the most, that's where we find us bringing our students closer to their learning outcomes. So, for me, taking that county-wide approach, like you said, candidate Barrick, and really just understanding how to provide mental health services to all of our students and bringing our districts together, that's so instrumental. So thank you so much for sharing that. I really want to, talk, I want to kick it over, to you, Christian. And I really just want to ask you, as we're people who are in this county and you're looking to vote for these candidates, like what stuck out to you? What really hit home for you?
Yeah, I think for me, what hit home. Thank you, first of all, to all the candidates and the powerful answers that you gave. What hit home for me is like putting the lens on those who are closer to the pain, the students who are the most marginalized in our communities, and really spending the funds that go there and support them. This is going to be my first time voting in the U.S. I became a U.S. citizen last year, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to make sure that my vote counts and it's creating change and we are able to create action. I come from DP Stokeland and I say that proudly because often people say, people from marginalized communities are not taking initiative and doing things. We are here, we are at the table, and it's time to create change and vote and put those closer to the pain in the front to create that change.
Absolutely. We have this concept in our space called the power code. I know that you know it, Christian. And by us exercising our vote, it allows us to tailor our power code. We have this theory that, you go to your closet and there's this coat that's been in there for a while, right? It's your power code. You might not have seen it in a very, very, very long time. So you don't remember what it feels like. You don't even really remember what it looks like, right? But you see it and it kind of looks familiar. So you pull it out, you dust off the dirt, you throw it on. And in the beginning, it's not feeling that good, right? But then as you begin to exercise your power, you realize, oh man, this is actually for me. So us voting allows us to continue to exercise that power in the form of a power code. So let's keep it rolling. Next, we have Katya. She is a parent at Oakland Unified Greenleaf Elementary and FIA board member, right? Who will lead our next generation. And the next question addresses the ACOE budget. So anyone who's elected, into the office needs to know how to align our resources to our priorities. And we want to hear how our candidates think about, the $58 million in resources that's there for the ACOE budget. So let's hear from Katya.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Katia Caballero, tengo 2 hijos, Camila está en segundo grado en Greenleaf Elementary, Cristian está en el 10º grado en Unity High School. Soy originaria de México, donde pude obtener mi licenciatura en educación preescolar, gracias al enorme esfuerzo y sacrificio de mis padres. Soy la única de 4 hermanos que pudo lograrlo. Me gustaría lo mismo para mis hijos. Trabajo arduamente en la educación de ellos. Estoy involucrada en diferentes organizaciones, siendo FIA una de ellas, donde me han brindado herramientas que me han permitido luchar y levantar mi voz para exigir la calidad que merece. A través de estos institutos hemos adquirido más información, como que la Oficina de Educación del Condado de Alameda tiene diferentes actividades, siendo una de ellas el manejo del presupuesto. Sabemos que ahorita actualmente tienen $3.2 billones. Me gustaría hacerles 3 preguntas. ¿De qué manera se está gastando correctamente el presupuesto de la Oficina de Educación del Condado de Alameda? ¿Qué necesita mejorar en la forma en que se asignan los fondos del condado? Y por último, ¿cómo hará que esto suceda si es elegido administrador? Muchas gracias por su tiempo y atención.
All right. Once again, we're going to reiterate the questions. There are 3 questions in one. It's a package deal here. Shout out to Katia for making that happen. Question number 1. Where is your view? Is the ACOE budget being well spent? So how is it well spent so far? What needs to improve in how county funds are allocated? And how will you make that happen if elected trustee? Stefisha.
Roll call. All right. Candidate Eileen McDonald, you are first and you have 90 seconds.
Oh, how exciting to start this off. I have to tell everyone that even though it looks like a huge budget and a large number, we are not in charge of the budget. We vote on the superintendent's budget, but the superintendent is the one that allocates where the money should go. We can voice our opinions. We have a strong voice when it comes to the charter schools, when it comes to the community schools, but the superintendent, ultimately, it is the superintendent's budget. But I will say this board has been very proactive in making sure that all monies are spent the best for all students. And in fact, I want to go to an example. A few years back, our former superintendent, L.K. Monroe, when she saw some disparities in Oakland, she brought a couple specialists who go to the Oakland schools to help with mentoring, to help with starting some student clubs, and to make sure that we were spreading the money out a little more judiciously around the county. So that would be my hope, is that instead of constantly hiring directors and chiefs, that we would put more teachers out there, more aides, and that we would be able to help one of our districts, Oakland, that's really in desperate need of help. Maybe we could go in there with some specialists, create some clubs, some tutoring, and help them out a little more. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your response. Next, we have candidate Angela Norman. You are next, and you have 90 seconds.
All right. Thank you. Excuse me. Like Eileen said, and like I've already mentioned, I feel that we are doing incredible work when it comes to the budget and ensuring that, specifically, as our superintendent says, that this year's dollars are spent on this year's students. We have an education code that guides us in this work, Education Code 41372. So it's intended to ensure that adequate funding is dedicated to classrooms. This is important so that funding is prioritized for lower class sizes and direct services to students. And we all know how important those two things are. So I will continue to leverage my relationships and meet regularly with lawmakers, because I believe the state needs to do more to close the corporate tax loopholes and eliminate the tax credits to increase revenue for state and education. It's essential that the state extend the income tax revenues provided through Props 30 and 55 in order to ensure the existing funding for education. This system is broken on purpose. There is a reason why we are 47th in the country in classroom spending. Big corporations like Disneyland and Chevron, they're still paying 1970 taxes, while no one in this forum is. So I will continue to lobby and push for more funding. I met with Congressman Swalwell yesterday, and we talked about priorities.
Candidate Norman, that's time. Thank you so much for your response. Next, we have candidate John Lewis. You are next, and you have 90 seconds. If you're speaking, John, we can't hear you. Let's get you on mute.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
I was on mute. Sorry about that. Yeah, I would say that we have to try to keep teachers, good teachers. So we should raise their pay, give them incentives. I think that $58 million, I don't think that's being doled out correctly. Maybe we could, instead of having gimmicks, we'll do some more programs that successful communities are doing, upward bound programs, maybe even remedial programs on Saturdays, possibly, to have these students catch up. Those will be some of my goals. But basically, reward the teachers that are doing well. That's what I would do. That's what I would do.
All right, thank you so much for your response, candidate Lewis. Next, we have Ken Barrick. You are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Yeah, thanks. I think we're actually doing a good job with the budget we have. It's just that the budget we have is inadequate, and I think Trustee Norman said it really well. So we need to scale up a series of programs like school to work programs. So we have this great program for young people that are transitioning, that didn't graduate. We need to be able to move them directly into good paying jobs, and we need to create those connections across the community. But much more important than that is we need to be partnering with the county in the way that the superintendent is doing to create services and support so that every young person succeeds. You know, when we talk about working with the county to bring mental health services, we're not talking about a therapist in a room somewhere. We're talking about peer support. We're talking about engagement. We're talking about getting young people excited about school by having mentors that can support them through every phase of their education and make sure that they succeed. We can do better than that, at that. And what What I want to say to you all is we need to be standing shoulder to shoulder. We need to be in Sacramento together saying this should be our priority. This is what we need to do, not just across the county, but using the county as leverage to support the County Office of Education, to support other county services and every district in the county. So I think that's where we can be doing better. We've been focused more internally, and now we're switching our focus externally.
All right, candidate Barrick, that's your time. Thank you so much for that response. Next, we have President Jonathan Cole. You are next, and you have 90 seconds.
You know, one day the superintendent came to me and she said there was a shortage for funding for a project that's going in Hayward that would house our foster care youth that are aging out of the system. And it's working with a place-based, a faith-based organization that really started, was a catalyst for this program. And the county was able to utilize those fundings to help keep that project in place. And it was a substantial amount, and I was happy to be a part of that decision making. But another thing I wanted to focus on is that the workforce development, as far as bringing in Black and Brown teachers that look like our student population and help retain them. And I was speaking to a teacher today, and she was saying they need more support in the classroom. They need those para-educators working beside them. They have such a heavy workload when it comes to the administrative duties that they're not able to totally focus on the children all the time. And so we need to supply that support, like AI systems that would help them to do that administrative work, and then allow them that time to focus on our scholars, rather than focusing on the paperwork that's needed, and then bringing in more support in the classroom for them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your response, President Cole. Lastly, for this question, we have Joe Ramos. You are next, and you have 90 seconds.
Man, can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for what you said, Ms. Cole. Let me continue on. It's just simple. Let's go back to the basics. Let's make that sure that literacy in math, that we focus it, especially on the lower grades, 3rd and 4th. And then I think it was Miss McDonald that talked about vocational school. Thank you for saying that. That's one of my pet peeves. I talk about they try to put everybody in college, and then they're going to put them in child development or low-paying jobs. Why don't you get them in high-paying vocational ed, where they'll be able to make some money? Electricians, plumbers, carpenters. That's where the money's at. And so the other thing too, we haven't thought about, they're starting to do it, but they need to connect with the community college, like for example, Chabot here in the county, and the adult schools. And they need to connect it so that those people who they were incarcerated or whatever reason, they didn't like school, and suddenly they got to be 25 or 30 years old. Now they're like, what do I do? There has to be an opening for that. But the priority has to reach the ones in our 3rd and 4th grade and in reading and writing. Otherwise, this is what I found out. To do my research, I was in a gang program in San Francisco. I was a program coordinator, and most of the guys in jails or gangs, it's because they were not literate or they didn't have very math scores, and they would rather be known as gangbangers or a behavioral problem than they couldn't read. So we have to give them the basics. And then we have to open that door.
All right, candidate Ramos, that's your time. I thank you so much for your response.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Those responses were on fire. I was looking at the chat and it was going off. I don't know if you catch some of those celebrations and questions that the families have. I also want to just take a moment and breathe, right? Because it's a lot of information that we are digesting in this process, but it's powerful information that's going to create change in our community.
I got my energy out.
All right, let's go ahead. If you haven't mute yourself, make sure you mute yourself. Thank you. It's official. We're gonna pause for a minute and remind folks. I just got a number that there's about 35 folks who sign up. Hey, that's a celebration, but we need to hit 100 tonight. We have 107 folks in this forum tonight. Let's make sure we drop the link at the end of this forum. We are also gonna pull up the Q&R code once again for you to sign up. Please, super important to exercise your vote. It's the Fisha.
Absolutely. For so long, you guys, there were a group of people who didn't have the opportunity to vote. So let's get it done. Next, I'm excited to introduce Daisy Campos. She's a parent leader from Lazier who's going to ask our candidates our final questions specifically about their trustee area. But before we get into the video, I'm going to tell you right now, when we come back, our questions will be answered in 60-second responses, not 90. So let's get into Daisy's question, and then we'll get rocking and rolling.
Good evening. My name is Daisy Campos. I am a parent leader and I also work at Lazier Charter Academy School. I have two children who attend Lazier. My son is in second grade and my daughter is in fifth grade. They are my motivation to be here today. I support them much as I can because I want for my children and older students to be someone important in their life. They can do it having better education than the one that they have right now. So my question for all of you is, what are the top 2 challenges in the trustee area you are seeking to represent that you have to tackle during your term if elected? Thank you.
All right, all right. Once again, reiterate the question. Here we go. What are the top 2 challenges in the Trust Street area you are seeking to represent that you hope to tackle during your term if elected?
All right, so here's roll call. We have John Lewis. You are up first, and remember, you have 60 seconds.
You are muted.
John, if you're speaking, you're muted.
I am muted. Yeah, the first thing I would do is work on students getting up to reading level, grade level, because if they're not reading at grade level, they're not writing at grade level, and they're definitely not doing their math at grade level. That's the first thing I would do. Second thing I would do, I would try to implement some type of clustering of Saturday school programs or some type of STEM programs for the students that are excelling, right? We don't want to leave them out either. So those are the 2 things I would do. Basically start from the bottom and work from the top down, and basically put more funds in that area, cut the fat as much as I can, and maybe even try to give some money to the teachers that are doing well, incentive.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate your response. Candidate Ken Barrett, you are next, and you have 60 seconds.
So, can you all hear me? I'm off mute.
Yep.
Right? Good.
Yep.
All right. Thanks. So, Trustee Norman and I represent Oakland. And if anybody doesn't know the problems that are occurring in Oakland right now, you're not reading the news. I mean, we just, the NAACP asked the governor to bring in the highway patrol. That's the equivalent of ordering in the National Guard. Part of the reason that we've done that is we're failing our youth. We are failing our youth. And when we made the decision to lower the number of young people that we had in our juvenile hall schools from 300 down to 60, we should have made a concurrent decision to support those young people unconditionally and to be with them and not just to push them off the end of the earth, which is exactly what we've done. So the biggest challenge I see going forward is how do we, through our community schools, through our juvenile hall court schools, and in partnership with the county, create programs that support young people unconditionally and that don't give up.
That's time, Candidate Barrick. Thank you so much for your response. Next, we have President Jonavette Cole. You are next, and you have 60 seconds.
Chronic absenteeism is a huge issue in my area and the schools that we serve. We have since COVID, about 40% of our students are part of chronic absenteeism. We need to really focus on that and highlight it. We were having a discussion today in one of our meetings, and we were talking about strategies to resolve that. And one of them was to reestablish the home visits. And if that takes like teachers, communities, volunteers, whatever, to go out to these families and make them feel welcome in our school environments, let it be so. The other thing is that we need to make sure that we are personalizing the needs of our families. And we need to make them feel welcome. We need to make our kids feel welcome in school. And so the other thing is to make sure that they're meeting their A through G requirements, as well as being able to learn a vocation so that
President
they have
Cole,
two pathways.
that's your time. Thank you so much. Next, we have candidate Joe Ramos. You are next, and you have 60 seconds.
You are muted.
Yep, you are muted.
Yeah. Can you repeat that question?
Yes. So your question are, what are your top 2 challenges in the trustee area you are seeking to represent that you hope to tackle during your term if elected?
Okay, thank you. Like I said earlier, back to the basics. We got to do the math, the literacy, the writing, and we have to have, not only the budget being balanced, but we have to have parental involvement. We got to get the families to come to the meetings to connect. They don't realize how important it is that the family is there. And we also need to develop that vocational schools so that people will have a job when they come out of high school or if they're incarcerated. And we have to prepare them for life. Right now, we're not doing that. And so right now, we need to focus on that, going back to the families and connect with the families, as Ms. Cole mentioned about the absenteeism. If we don't do that, we're going to lose them. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, candidate Ramos, for your response. Candidate Eileen McDonald, you are next, and you have 60 seconds.
Although on paper, I am elected by the citizens of Newark and Fremont, in my heart, I represent all the students in the entire county. And my focus will be, again, vocational training. It'll be school to work. The other thing that I need to mention is kids with ADHD, bipolar, that have special needs. They need art education in the schools. They need art, music, drama to also help them succeed, because we know that the brain focuses on many different things for children. And a child that may have trouble with math, they might find out that once they get into one of the arts, that it helps them be more successful. So those will be my goals. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your response. And lastly, for this question, we have candidate Angela Norman. You are next, and you have 60 seconds.
Thanks. And I promise Ken and I did not plan this out, but like John Yvette said, chronic absenteeism. On Tuesday at the county board meeting, I'll be giving a report on chronic absenteeism and how it's linked to poor outcomes. And it's also an indicator of dropping out of school. And like Ben put in a comment just a few seconds ago, how about asking the community? OUSD indicates that all of their schools are community schools. So, we have data that shows that successful community schools like Prescott have engaged parents and community who come out to regular parent meetings and talk about the ways to improve. So I'll continue to show up and be there, holding districts accountable and providing environments that our students need to thrive.
Thank you so much for your response, candidate Norman. So thank you so much for your responses. I see the chat going up, so we'll come back to that. But Christian, let me go ahead and toss it over to you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you once again, candidates, for sticking to the time and answering some powerful questions from our community. Moving on, we want to introduce Benjamin, a youth leader from Unity High. So if you're from Unity High, you got to be blowing up the chat right now. We got a young leader who's about to present the lightning round. Now, this is going to be a video that's going to play. It's going to give you time for you to listen to all the questions. After the video, we're going to pause, and Esteficia is going to ask the questions, and you're going to have to answer yes or no only. All right, here goes the video.
Hello, everyone. My name is Benjamin Seja. I am a youth leader at Oakland Union High School. I'm here with Families in Action because I think it's super important for each and every one that's on this call, youth, students, community members, in order to see which candidate best aligns with our priorities for our area. This is important because if we pick the right person for us, we get to work with and they could hopefully make our area a better city and a better school system for us. Voting is important to me because it's a powerful tool that we have as people, as community members, as students, and parents in order to be successful in our system, or anything that we want, you know? So tonight I will be asking 4 yes or no questions for candidates for our lightning round. Candidates, please answer yes or no only. Question 1. If elected, will you support the renewal of high quality charter schools in your area? Question 2. Will you allocate mental health funding equitable for all students in district, county, and charter schools? Question 3. With 58% of the county's enrolling student body in 2022-2023 school year identifying are either special education or social and economically disadvantaged, do you agree that this needs more attention in 2024 school year and beyond? Question 4. Do you believe that charter schools are public schools? Thank you.
All right. We give you some think time. So now we're gonna jump into the lightning round. Safisha, you want to go ahead and ask the first question, and I will do the roll call this time.
Absolutely. Question number 1. If elected, will you support the renewal of high quality charter schools in your area?
All right. Be ready to unmute yourself. We're gonna start with candidate Ramos. Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. Candidate McDonald. Yes or
Yes.
no? Candidate Norman. Yes or no?
Yes.
Candidate Lewis. Yes or no?
Yes.
Candidate Barrick. Yes or no?
Yes.
And candidate Cole. Yes or no?
Yes.
All right, Safisha, keep it moving.
All right. Question number 2. Look, y'all got me excited. Question number 2. Will you allocate mental health funding equitably for all students in district, county, and charter schools? Christian?
All right, candidate Cole, let's go with you first.
Yes.
Candidate Barrick.
Yes, yes, yes.
Candidate Lewis.
Yes.
Candidate Norman.
Yes.
Candidate McDonald.
Yes.
And candidate Ramos. Then you're
Yes.
muted.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Great. Thank you.
All
Thank you.
Good stuff, technology. Question number 3. 58% of ACOE's student body in 2022 to 2023 school year identifies as either special education or socioeconomically disadvantaged. Do you agree that this needs more attention in 2024 and beyond?
All right, here we go. Candidate Barrett.
Yes.
Candidate Cole.
Yes.
Candidate Lewis.
Yes.
Candidate Norman.
Yes.
Candidate McDonald.
Yes.
And candidate Ramos. Candidate Ramos, maybe you muted.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Good stuff, you guys. All right. Last question. Question number 4. Do you believe that charter schools are public schools? Roll call.
Safisha, you were breaking down on that one. Can you repeat that question one more time?
Oh, gladly. Question number 4. Do you believe that charter schools are public schools? Roll call.
All right. We're starting with candidate McDonald.
Yes.
Candidate Norman.
Yes.
Candidate Lewis.
Yes.
Candidate Barrick.
Yes.
Candidate Cole.
Yes.
And candidate Ramos.
Yes.
Ooh, oh my gosh, that's spicy, y'all. Look, drop some emotions in the chat. We're gonna keep it moving. Look, we're coming to the end of tonight's candidate forum, okay? If there's something that you didn't get to share with us tonight for our candidates, look, I want you to just take this next 90 seconds as you do your closing statement, or actually 60 seconds. And I want you to genuinely give it what you got, okay? So we have 60 seconds, and we're going to start with candidate Ken Berry. Now's your time.
Thank you. And I'm going to have to drop off after this because I have a League of Women Voters forum to go to. Look, I want to start with a short apology. I know I took one question to address an issue that was really important to me. I want everyone watching to know that you can ask my fellow trustees. I have never spoken harshly to another public official in my public life, but I believe that there's a line that needs to be drawn, and the line comes in speaking disrespectfully, particularly to the public or to staff. And so I felt like I had to call it out. And I open with that to say, as I listen to all of you, know that as I move forward in this role and in any other role, listening respectfully, engaging, and trying to hear what folks are saying, especially young people who we're here to serve. That's what we're supposed to be here to do. Excuse me. That's the most important thing to me. And being able to translate that into action and fast
Thank
action.
you so much, Candidate Barrick. I'm sorry, that's your time. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining
Thank
us
you
tonight.
all very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us tonight. Next, we would like to bring to the stage candidate Eileen McDonald. You have 60 seconds for your closing statement.
Okay, as I've repeated many times while I've answered questions, I believe that not all students learn equally, but all students deserve the keys to be successful equally. I am innovative, I'm fair, I'm accessible, and I'm dedicated, and I will continue to advocate for all students. Thank you, and thank you for having us this evening.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate having you. All right. So next on our list of closing statements, we have candidate Angela Norman. You have 60 seconds. You are next.
Thank you. First of all, thank you to Families in Action staff, as well as the wonderful students and community members who took the time to lend your voice to this forum. I hope you learned a little bit something about me. I'm a teacher. I'm a special education teacher, and that is what's in my heart and at my heart. Like I do in my classroom, I like to create Venn diagrams so that we're not all stuck out here in these silos. I like to leverage my relationships and really advocate for the things that our students need. So I hope that we can work together to make sure that we achieve success for our students.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, candidate Norman, for that. We appreciate it. Next on our list of candidates, we have candidate John Lewis. You are next and you have 60 seconds.
Okay. Basically, I think this is the closing statement is really important. Like I said, my basic thing is to get kids reading at grade level, because that's going to basically excel them. It's going to springboard them into their life. If they can't read, they're just left behind, to put it plainly. But we're not leaving anybody behind. My thing is to get them up, get them running. Goal is to programs, Saturday programs, possibly raise teacher salaries, keep the best teachers. And then also too, we're right here in Silicon Valley, is right next door. Why aren't we doing anything with them? Why aren't we engaging with them? Why don't we have a pipeline down there for training, right? That would be the next step, right? But we got to get these kids reading. We got to get them reading. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your response, candidate Lewis. And next we have President John Vett Cole. You have 60 seconds.
My email is jcole, C-O-L-E, at ACOE.com or .org. Any questions, anything you need support with, you let me know. I am available. I am a warrior. I am your servant. I am here to make certain that your kids have a quality education. We have a war that's going on. Our kids are not being serviced properly. They are not receiving the high quality education that they deserve. And I'm in the war with you to make that happen. And this is my legacy. That's why I'm here. And so I'm here for you. Feel free to contact me at any time.
Thank you so much for that response. We genuinely appreciate it. And lastly, we have candidate Joe Ramos. You have 60 seconds.
All right. Muchas gracias para todos que están escuchando ahorita. My name is Joe Ramos, and I spent 18 years as a Marine, so I'm a warrior, full all the way, hands down. And I served you then, I will serve you now, and I won't let any injustice come in here. And right now, the district that I'm with, they're corrupt, and I'm calling them out. Glassbrook School. Look up woke kindergarten. You're going to find out that the Board of Education approved this nonsense. They spent $250,000 on this racism taught to young Latino children, and right now the parents are just finding out. There's going to be a revolution in Hayward because of what the district did, and they can say what they want, because I was upset when I heard about it. So you can look me up. They're going to just say vile things about me, but that's okay. I don't back down to anybody. I tell the truth where it is. You want to find the truth? Just look up on any news station. You're going to find out woke kindergarten, and they're talking about Hayward like they're dogs. Why? Because they brought it upon themselves. Thank you very much. I like you, Miss Cole, but I think that I have more.
Thank you so much, candidate. Thank you so much, candidate Ramos, for your response. We appreciate all of the responses. Christian?
Yes, thank you, candidates. We sincerely want to thank you for being here this evening, taking the time and being in community. Thank you for your service, your dedication to our students, families of Alameda County throughout your career. We are grateful for your interest in representing our families who have chosen schools, and some of us have worked in those schools represented by ACOE, areas 2, 3, 5, 6. Let's hear it in the chat box for all our candidates in here, please. That was amazing. Thank you for being here. This was great. This was spicy. It was fire. It's been raining in the Bay Area, but I feel warm here. I feel hot.
Yes, hot summer coming up. So look, up next, you guys, we have a FIA youth leader who's here to share an important opportunity with you, okay? Let me not forget to remind you, complete your pledge to vote, right? But tonight, you decided to join this forum, right? We want to just invite you to stay engaged, not just tonight, but across the future, right? And to continue to exercise your power and your leadership. So let's hear from Miriam.
Hi everyone, my name is Miriam, and I'm just here to share a little bit about myself and why I do the work that I do with FIA. So I am currently a student at Rice High School. I'm also a student leader with Families in Action for Quality Education. I'm a student leader with FIA because I believe that every student should have the opportunity to attend a four-year university. And in order to do that, FIA has helped many schools educate their students on A through G requirements. And as a student myself, I think definitely knowing the A through G requirements is very crucial to my high school education. It has definitely helped me stay on track with my schooling. So along with that, I just want to say, come and flex your civic power with us and get out the vote starts now. It's been a long-awaited moment. So thank you, families, educators, youth, community members, for coming out to the candidate forum. You showed a lot of power this evening with your presence. And I just want to extend a very special invitation to each and every one of you here to join us in our Get Out the Vote efforts as we move closer to the election date on March 5th. So definitely don't forget that date, March 5th. Mark it on your calendars. Do what you have to do in order to remember the date, March 5th. So definitely don't forget. And that's all on my part. So I just want to thank everyone for listening to me here tonight. Thank you.
All right. And with that being said, we're gonna ask you one more time that if you haven't clicked the link or picked up your phone and scanned the QR code to pledge to vote, please take the pledge. Esteficia, please tell them. Please say how important it is.
Take the pledge. Look, if we don't see y'all like this, we know you're not clicking the QR code, okay? So look, candidates, thank you for telling us why the community should vote for you to be their Alameda County trustee. You know, the candidates are one of the most important parts of this whole thing, right? So thank you for taking the time to show up. And thank you for sharing your thoughts and your feelings with the people of our community. And just thank you for taking the time to be here tonight. You know, it genuinely matters. And thank you to FIA for Justice for hosting this whole forum, and to the community for flexing your civil power and civic power and showing up tonight, right? So your voice is your vote. Use it.
use it, and pledge. If you need to stay with us for a little longer, we can help you. If you're having trouble with the link, we can connect with you. We are here to support you. Your vote matters. And you know, elections are coming up. You already know where to catch me. You can catch me outside getting people to vote. So, with that being said, everyone, give yourselves a round of applause for attending today. You are inspirational. When you are involved in learning more about candidates like today, the issues that impact you and your community, you are able to have a huge influence in shaping the future and the positive change in your community and beyond. And that is power. Estefisha, it was a pleasure to be here with you today.
Man, it was a pleasure to be here with you. It was a pleasure to be here with our community. And it was a pleasure to be here with our candidates. I thank you guys for all that you do and the way that you serve. And until next time, I guess that's it. So
until
look,
next time.
Okay. So look, when it comes, wait a minute. We got one more thing to chat about.
One more thing.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Did everybody pledge to vote? I don't think everybody pledged to vote. Wait a minute. We got an issue. I'm not going anywhere, Christian. I'm not going anywhere. Look, do I need to go through our chat room and start acting like a teacher calling people by name? I don't really want to do that. Look, there's one more slide. So let's thank you to our partners, okay? So if you recognize one of these partners up on this slide, I want you to go ahead and drop them in the chat. You know, if you represent UMing, let me get a whoop whoop. If you represent Lighthouse, Cox, and Vision, Bridge, Academy, who do you see up there, Christian? Who do you see?
I see a Rise in the building. I see Lone Star in the building. You know, Latitude in the building. You already know it. Bridge in the building. I mean, I love the logos. I mean, I love them.
Yes. These are all of our schools that really make a difference, you guys. So at the end of the day, we want to thank you to all of our schools, all of our community partners, and everybody who took the time to really make this virtual candidate forum a blast. We want to thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for showing up, because without our collective collaboration, this does not happen. We don't get the opportunity to educate the community in this way. So thank you so much to every single sponsor that you see and don't see up here on this screen. We genuinely appreciate you so much.
Yeah, and once again, if you're a part of this community, please, if some of your friends, family members weren't able to make it, pass the word, pass the message, let them know, pledge to vote, give them the link, because they will be able to support your community, your district, in the areas that, you know, often needed the most.
Shout out to Greenleaf and Unity. I see that. That's right. Look, represent your.
I gotta say, Unity's out here in full power. Like, I keep seeing it on the chat. Go Tigers! You know, I see the Tigers little emojis and the lighthouses in the building. Whoop whoop!
You got to be excited, Christian, because these are our high school students. You know, these are middle school students. These are students in the community who genuinely want to take the time to understand how their actions can be impactful. And I'm sure some child around the world said, you know what, I want to be president, or I want to be elected, right? So this is where it starts. So we're at the end of the night, you guys. We're going to wrap it up. Get out, vote, get out and tell somebody. And we thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you so much. Until next time.